As a struggling creator, you're beyond overwhelmed. Your videos are stuck at 200 views and there's 101 things running through your brain at any given point, and they're all bad. Like the algorithm hates me, the opportunity is gone, it's just too late to grow on TikTok, or I'm just not good enough. Do these sound familiar? Everyone has the same limiting beliefs or just simply wrong opinions running through their brain, and it's making it harder for them to grow. I've been guilty of this in the past as well, and I'm someone who has grown accounts to hundreds of thousands of followers for my personal stuff and millions for brands and other accounts that I've worked with. So today what we're going to do is break through those limiting beliefs, and I'm going to give you everything I wish I knew before starting on TikTok so that you can course correct and get on a path for far faster and more sustainable growth on the platform, because it's still 100% possible to grow. And if you listen and implement everything I'm going to cover in this video, it will happen for you. But one ask that I have for you is to not simply just listen and understand what I'm saying. I want you to actually implement it. So many people that struggle with growth, they consume videos like this all the time, but they don't implement the advice, so they just say it doesn't work. Understanding something but not implementing it is as useless as our government. We probably don't even live in the same place, but I figured that was a safe joke. Seems like everyone hates their government. But it is very true. If you don't implement something, you don't truly understand it. So what I want you to do is commit to, after you watch this video, putting it into action into your TikTok strategy, okay? I'm gonna give you free value and you're gonna actually put it to use. Fair enough? Perfect. So number one is boring, but I had to start here because it's the foundation for all of your success, and that is being consistent. When you commit to being consistent on TikTok, you nearly guarantee success for a few very specific reasons. First, the platform rewards creators that are consistent because it knows that if it gives you an audience, you're gonna keep creating for them. Two, you get better at making videos. If you're not growing, chances are you're not good at making videos or understanding how to structure a video to get people to care, watch, and then actually wanna watch more. And that really only comes through doing it. You can understand the fundamentals, but until you actually implement them, your knowledge is pretty much useless. And through creating consistently and forcing yourself to do so, you're going to expedite your learning, because every time you create, you're going to catch little things that you did wrong or wish that you did differently. This happens to me every time I hit publish. I'm sure you can relate. But all these little lessons you're going to get, if they come quickly, they can compound and dramatically increase your ability to create videos that consistently pull views. Whereas if you wait a long time in between lessons, sometimes you forget what you had already learned and you make the same mistake again. Whereas if it's back to back to back, it becomes a routine or a habit. You can become so much better in so much less time. So that's why it's so important to build the habit and force yourself to create and commit to that. There's this amazing book called The War of Art, and it applies to this situation completely. To summarize that book, it basically just illustrates that forcing yourself to be creative on a consistent basis is going to give you way more results than only creating when you feel inspired or super creative. So many creative people use that as an excuse, and they don't achieve nearly what they would be capable of had they created some structure that forced them to be creative. And one example that he gave in that book was Seinfeld. I'm sure you've heard of him. Seinfeld would force himself to write a certain amount of jokes every single day, regardless of how he felt. That's the kind of commitment that allows you to learn and become better so much faster. So you need to do the same. Whatever consistency looks like for you, commit to making that a thing and do so for a longer period of time. We're talking months, not weeks, months and years. If you do that, success becomes guaranteed on social media, especially TikTok. And it won't even take you years, but if you commit to doing it for years, you're gonna find success and do so way faster. The next thing I wish I knew was that viral videos should not be the goal, especially if you're new. And in fact, they're actually a curse for new creators. And that's not even being dramatic. There's so many things that they bring to you that aren't good if you're a new creator or if you haven't gone through the learning phase of figuring out your voice, how you create, and the reason why you're creating in the first place. What are your goals with this traffic and with being on TikTok? And there's a few reasons why it's a curse. The first is it sets your expectations. Once you have that viral video, you start comparing every single video that you create and its performance to that. That's your new benchmark. And naturally, that's an outlier. That is not a common thing. And so when you're comparing everything else to an outlier, naturally, you're gonna become pretty negative. You're gonna think that you suck or that you've fallen off, and that's just not true. Viral videos are outliers, and TikTok is a lot like a slot machine. It rewards you randomly to keep you coming back. The creators of this platform are not stupid, and there's a reason why gambling is so addictive and why they bring those fundamentals over to TikTok. If you create enough pieces of content, the algorithm will randomly reward you because it wants you to keep creating content. And so it's really important that if you do get a viral video, that doesn't become your new benchmark, because it's the outlier. It's the exception, not the rule. But a lot of people fall into the trap of chasing that, and it doesn't help them achieve their goals. If you are also brand new and you haven't built out a catalog of content, it can really pigeonhole the kind of content you want to be making, because you do want to double down on what went viral to get you more views. And so if it's not associated with who you want to be and the goals that you have, it's not helping you at all. So that's why you'd rather go through the phase of actually learning who you are and how you want to show up. So that way, when you do start getting viral videos, they actually help you achieve your desired goals on TikTok. On a personal note, I can say there's also a massive dopamine dump when you do have a viral video. You get super excited. You start seeing all the likes, all the comments, all the fights going on in the comment section. And you just get so much dopamine rushing to you at once that it then crashes, and it's almost like a hangover from a viral video. So viral videos are not the goal right now. They're going to come as a product of doing everything we're talking about, but it's a mentality shift. You're not a failure because you don't have viral videos. They're actually not that good for you as a new creator. So we're not chasing them. They can also force you to lose track of your goals, which is the next thing that I really wish I knew before starting on TikTok. It's so important to have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve through people seeing your videos on TikTok. So many people come and start creating just chasing followers and views. And so they create content, they try everything, they find something that sticks, and they just keep making that kind of content with no thought about what is this going to turn into? How is this going to change my life or my business? What does this traffic actually mean? So right here, I want you to pause the video and think about exactly what you're trying to achieve on TikTok. Are you a brand trying to gain exposure for your business? Are you an existing business trying to get clients? Are you trying to be a full-time creator from entertainment or relatable-based content? Figuring out what you are actually trying to achieve and how TikTok is a vehicle to get you there is so important. What are your specific goals? Followers and views are not enough, with the one exception of if you want to be a full-time creator. But even that, you should give a lot more thought as to what the traffic is that you want to pursue, who are you trying to reach, and what do you want to actually do with that traffic? How are you going to turn this into a sustainable business? So once you've outlined exactly where you want to go, so your dream destination from creating on TikTok, this is basically going to structure your plan. So once you know this vision for yourself and you know that you are an existing business and you're looking to grow exposure and close clients, this now allows you to create multiple different kinds of content that help you get closer to your goals. Because TikTok launched with giving everyone the opportunity to go viral, everyone who creates content is just constantly chasing that as their only metric. They want views and they want impressions, likes, the stuff that doesn't actually move the needle in most cases. But if you have a clear path in mind, you can start creating pieces of content that may not go super viral. They may not even have a chance to, but they could be really valuable for you. For example, if you're a business and you're trying to sell to someone, you're naturally going to have to go deeper and speak to a specific kind of person that is your ideal client. Simply through doing that, that video cannot go viral, but that shouldn't be the goal for that video. It's serving a purpose. It is a piece in the puzzle towards your goal and the path you're trying to get down. But if you didn't know that, you may have just constantly been chasing views and not actually getting closer to your goal, which I think is one of the biggest traps on TikTok. So many people are just chasing views and engagement when they really should be making other kinds of content that actually move them closer to where they want to be. You shouldn't only be making top of funnel content, and that's the stuff that can reach the widest audience. You want to actually bring people down the funnel through your content. And naturally, the further you go down that funnel, you're going to make more money from that content, but it's going to be shown to less people. And that is completely okay, because you understand where you're trying to go and the path to get there. If you've liked this video so far and you've taken anything from it, or if you're trying to grow on social media, this is definitely the channel to help you do it. I make free videos just like this to share everything that I've learned from my years in social media to help you grow and make more money on social media in less time. So make sure to click that subscribe button down below and hit the bell button so that YouTube will actually show you our videos, because they're not very good at that. So I think everything to this point has been fairly straightforward. If not, let me know in the comments and I will help you out there. This next tip is what I think the biggest differentiator between someone who tries creating content and someone who's a successful creator or business owner creating content, etc. And it's the principle that 1% better makes 100% of the difference. The first tip was all about consistency. And I had said that if you are consistent, success becomes a guarantee. And I actually lied. Before you hate me in the comments though, it becomes a guarantee when you're consistent and consistently getting better and making that a deliberate practice. Mr. Beast is the most famous creator on the planet, and he stresses this so much. He basically says for any new creator, go make 100 videos and do one thing better every single time. You want to apply that to your content, because if you're not doing that, you're basically insane. And not to sound too much like a valedictorian speech here, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and expecting a different result. There are so many creators, probably a lot of you watching this video, that make the same kind of content again and again and again. It looks the same, sounds the same. They haven't worked on their hooks. They haven't worked on the structuring of their content. and they're wondering why they're not growing. You're doing the same thing, you're just doing it a lot. So that's why the 1% better makes all of the difference, because you need to get the learnings to do the right things. You can do the wrong things as many times as you want, and they're still going to be wrong. So consistently learning that 1% better every time should be the focus. If you do that, I can guarantee success. If you've genuinely been posting consistently, let's say once a day for the last 3 months, and you've seen no success at all, it's because your videos are bad, or there's just no audience for that kind of content. I know it's harsh, but it is absolutely true. The TikTok algorithm is so good at finding people for your content if it's good content. This doesn't mean that you're bad, or necessarily even that the subject matter or the topics of your videos are bad, but you haven't gotten good enough at capturing people's attention, capturing strangers' attention, and making them care enough to actually watch the video and get the value that you're trying to provide. And how you take this concept of 1% better and put it into practice is a few things. First, get better at content research. So stop consuming content to consume and start consuming content to learn. Go look at creators within your niche, go look at their best performing videos, and look for the common elements. Look for how they got someone to stop the scroll, because if a video popped off, they had to get random people to stop and care, and see the other things they're doing to keep people watching. Because a successful video does two things. It gets you to stop and it gets you to watch as much of it as possible. If you do those things, TikTok will reward you and push your video like crazy. And so if you're not getting rewarded, chances are you're not doing that yet, because you haven't gotten good enough at structuring a video for a cold audience. And luckily, TikTok gives you analytics, so you can actually watch how people are consuming your videos and seeing when the average person drops off. And that is super valuable information, because chances are you're making mistakes that you may not even have realized were mistakes until you study your content and then also do market research for other creators. So start with people that are within your niche. So who do you think already has your fans? And then just study content in general. And then study content from creators outside of your niche to learn best practices on how to stop, grab people's attention, and get them to watch. The biggest things you're looking to study is study hooks. So the first bit of a video, this includes what's on the screen, what's being said, all the different elements that show up in the first few seconds of the video, because this is being shown to a brand new person. If you don't make this compelling, your video can never go viral. So that's step number one. Become better at crafting compelling hooks. And there's a bunch of different ways to do this. But if you see a video that popped off, it had a good hook. So go find a ton of examples and experiment with what works best for you. Second thing you want to study is storytelling. If you can't keep people watching, the video won't pop off. First, obviously you have to get them to stop. But if you can't keep them there for a long enough period of time, TikTok won't think that video is valuable enough to push it to a bunch of people. So you have to learn how to tell stories. People love stories. People understand in stories. And so you want to become the best storyteller possible. It's going to help you teach people better. It's going to get more views on your content. And honestly, it impacts everything that you do in communication. The better that you can tell a story, the more people are going to care. And luckily, there are a ton of story structures and frameworks that you can put your idea through. And if you do this enough time, it just becomes a habit. But go ahead and Google story structures or story frameworks and start putting your ideas through that. And you'll see that it comes out so much more smooth and it is so much easier to consume, which increases the chances that people are actually going to watch it. And there's a saying that success leaves clues. So when you're brand new, it's a very good idea to studying the success of others and picking up what worked for them. And if you do this enough, eventually you'll be the person setting trends and people will be studying your content. But when you're brand new, focus on what worked for others and put your own unique spin or your own unique sauce on it. That's what's going to help you break through. So a few more things I wish I knew. The next is the importance of community and how you should be focusing on community as early as possible. The weird thing about TikTok is because you can reach a mass audience from any post, it is pretty siloed and doesn't feel like a true community-driven platform. So those that build the biggest businesses understand that and they focus on community because they see how valuable it really is. I'm sure you've seen a ton of different platforms popping up focusing on community, and it's because so many businesses see the value of it. People want to be around others that have similar values to them, that like the same things, that have the same goals, and community and you building that around your content is super critical and will help you win regardless of your goals. And when you have a tight-knit community, you have a cheat code for success because your core people are going to watch all your content. They're going to share it with all their friends. They basically act as a built-in hook because they want to see you and they trust everything that you bring is going to be of value for them and the community that you've built. When people love you, your face becomes the ultimate hook or the best niche. If you look at some of the best creators that have the most success consistently, they've gotten to a point where their content doesn't even need to be highly produced anymore because people come to expect a level of quality, or they just simply love that person because they've consumed enough of their content, and those people have focused on building a community over a long period of time. A few examples that come to mind would be Alex Hormozi in the more business niche, but then another example that is totally different would be Dave Portnoy of Barstool. His videos are never highly produced, but they consistently pull views because he's focused on community since the beginning of starting his business. And that should be a massive focus for you. As soon as you figure out who you're trying to reach with your content, build a community where they can hang out, where they can get more of the same kind of value, and where they can connect with similar people. You win the most from that happening. And the obvious question off of that is, how do you actually go about building a community through content? And there are a few different ways to do this. When it comes to specific things you're posting, the best way that I've seen people do this is through creating unique content series. This is a theme or a general topic that you create multiple pieces of content around, and you do this consistently. It's basically like building out your greatest hits. If you prove a concept that people want, you go back to that well as often as you can because it's proven to work and people like it. Think about yourself like a musician. The most popular songs, they help to grow the brand, they grow the following of the band, and people that listen to their songs, they listen to the greatest hits all the time. They don't get tired of it because they love it. The same can be said with content as well. If you look at some of the best creators, they have a unique content style or a content series that they consistently go back to because it's proven to be successful. Little homework, go look at your favorite creators. Even if they haven't clearly outlined content series, they're doing it one way or another. And so you want to figure out what your greatest hits are and go back to that as many times as possible. Huge added tip to this is why it works so well on TikTok is because if something is in a content series and say it blows up, every other video that's also in that series is going to get traffic when people come and visit your page looking for similar content. It also really helps convert viewers into followers because if they know for a fact they can expect more similar content because it's in a series, they're way more likely to sign up for more. It's like the ultimate hack right now on TikTok. It helps you grow consistently and helps you build that community around your greatest hits. Next, you want to focus on going live or giving your audience long form content, a way to go far deeper with you. And a live is just a great way to do this because you can do it with whatever you're doing. Say you're working within your business or you're applying to emails, you can go live and answer questions and your core people are going to jump in and interact with you. And that is such a powerful way. I can't stress enough how powerful a live can be for converting someone from a casual viewer into a loyal fan. I've had it myself personally. Someone comes in, they've watched a few of my videos, but simply me just saying their name, acknowledging them as a human and answering their question with specific value does more than 100 videos could do. And so if you do this over time, it has huge exponential returns in terms of building your core community. Whenever you've done this and you've built rapport with someone, even in a matter of seconds on a live, they are so much more likely to comment on your content, like your content, and watch all your videos. And so when you have that, you have this community piece, it is a hack to consistently pull views. Plus, huge pro tip, if someone really loves your kind of content, and you get them to interact with your content more often through coming into your live and really building that relationship, because it's all trackable, it also helps TikTok find more similar people. So all of these things really do feed into each other. And while they don't scale on the surface level, if you just look at it, you may go live for a few hours a day and only get a few followers here and a few followers there. But over time, it does so much in terms of bringing good data to your account that can help you grow far down the line that you didn't even realize it came from building the community far earlier. So make going live a habit. And if you can't go live, try to build out a longer form of content for the people that want it. This could be in the form of a podcast or longer form YouTube videos, whatever makes sense for you. Just give people the opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you at a deeper level. It's going to go a long way in building a true community. Also, treat your community as people. So within your live, it's obviously a no-brainer. You're going to interact with them. That's obvious and easy, but also try to get back to people within comments. Show that you care and do so consistently. It goes a long way in bringing people down your funnel. And the last tip to build a community is to truly build a community. If you have a core group of people that you're building through the previous tips that I just gave you, you can actually turn that into a more intimate community through a platform like Discord or School. There's tons of other platforms out there that allow you to do this, that you can have this private community for people that are your core fans to go far deeper. You can give them specific content and value that the average person may not want. And they also are able to connect with other people that are similar to them. And they're going to attribute that connection to you. So you benefit from connecting other people in your community. And you can make this free or paid, completely up to you. But having these more intimate communities is one of the biggest trends coming to marketing. And that's the reason for Instagram launching broadcast channels and a ton of other tools being built to focus on community. And the last thing I wish I knew before starting on TikTok was the importance of having strong opinions. Strong or controversial or polarizing opinions will bring you a ton of feedback on TikTok, some that are very pro and some that are very against. But by saying anything polarizing, it is a cheat code for growth. Expect some hate to come along with it, but the increased engagement from people being emotionally invested in it allows the video to travel so far because people want to state their opinions. I'm not saying to be controversial for the sake of being controversial. But if you have a strong opinion that you align with, even if it is polarizing, even if it's controversial, have the conviction to stand by that. If that's one of the core values of your brand or business, it's going to attract the right people and even turn the wrong people into an added growth tool, because if they comment on it, even hating on you, it casts a wider net of who will see the content, bringing more of the right people into your world. And here's why you should be completely okay with getting negativity or hate comments on TikTok, because they're genuinely inevitable. Especially if a video gets any bit of push to a new audience, there's going to be haters in there. But how you win on social the most is understand that coming into it, try not to care about that at all, and make content that can cast the widest net possible for your top of funnel content, and just let it attract the right people and even the wrong people, because it's going to help bring more of the people you actually should care about. You're going to have people that dislike you, and some people just like to dislike people. They're still helping you achieve your bigger mission, and they may never have found you if you didn't make the polarizing piece of content. And so that's why it is a cheat code for success. Let negative people be negative on your content. It's still helping you. As long as you believe in what you said and it's not hurting anyone else and it aligns with your brand, make the content. It's going to do way better with way less effort. If you can build up emotion in someone, they're far more likely to engage with it, and you benefit from it. One of the biggest pieces of homework from this video was to become a student of content and study the success of other similar pages. And I know that a ton of brands really struggle with this if they own a brand or a business. So we made a video of some of the most creative brands that are having a ton of success with TikTok in particular. And we've linked that video in the card above right here. So if you go ahead and click this, it's going to give you some great examples to study and learn from, and take the elements and put it into your content. So go ahead and click that. I will see you over there, and we will make sure that you crush it on TikTok this year. Peace. Click this. See you over there.